So today we are going to talk to Erin, and she is going to tell us all about her journey to becoming a sleep consultant. So, hello, Erin. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Missy. Thank
I'm
you for
so
having me.
yes. So, if you want to first kind of tell us about what was your life like before becoming a sleep consultant?
My life was it was crazy busy. I used to be an elementary school teacher and a reading specialist. The hours were long and hard, and then having my first kiddo, just made it even that much harder trying to fit in the errands and the responsibilities, and then just trying to like build a relationship with my kiddo and my family. It was a lot of work. I loved my job, but I loved my kid even more, so that's ultimately kind of how I got into it.
Yeah, and I can relate. I was a preschool teacher. So
Hmm.
I was like dropping my kid off to be basically like babysat while I'm basically babysitting other kids.
Exactly.
It was so hard to balance all of that. I didn't even know that sleep consulting was a thing. Like, I was finally able to be a stay-at-home mom, but like I wanted
Mhm.
more. So
Yeah.
I was looking and looking and looking, and I'm like, well, what am I gonna do? How, like,
Mhm.
I did not want to babysit out of my home. What was your journey to kind of deciding to take this course?
So upon, newborn first child, had no idea what I was doing in terms of sleep, stumbled upon Violet in her sleep consulting. And so actually I was like, who is this like magical fairy who's gonna
Oh, that's
teach
awesome.
us all how to sleep, right? I was like, oh my God, this is great. Didn't know that this was a job, this was the thing. So worked with Violet, this is 9 years ago at this point. I just loved every part of it. I love to learn about things. I like, when things are new, I like to stay busy. And so I was fascinated with how well it worked for my kiddo. And I was like, when it was time to stay home, I again wanted to do something that I had that was still my own. I like, again, to be busy. I like to have other things, just like going on in my life. So ended up saying, well, that was something I was really interested in, and I'd love to, maybe look into it. And when I looked further in, Violet offered a course at that point. I think it was still a little bit on the newer side. And I was like, absolutely, with her being, a registered nurse. I love the science side of it. I just loved just the whole concept of just how she worked with me. So I figured if I could learn how to work with other families the way she worked with me, it would be like a win-win. And it turned out to be an incredible course.
What year did you get your certification?
2016.
Okay.
So 2015, he was born in March. So we like by the end of, so like in the fall of 2015, yes, because then that was my like first year. I went back when he was about 5, 6 months. And I remember looking at my husband and being like, this isn't working for me.
Right.
Like getting home at 5, seeing him for like 2 hours, and then that was it. And so it's somewhere in the fall, like a couple months in, I was like, okay, we're going to start planning. So I started looking into the course and, saving
Good.
money and that.
So, how would you say taking this course and becoming a sleep consultant has changed your life?
It's completely changed my life for the better. I love that I'm a very type A person, so I thought I knew what I was going to be doing, and this is like the complete, I mean, I guess it is a completely different route, but I love that I still get to work with families. I still get to work with kiddos. So it's like at the root of who I am, I still get to do those things. But I get to be home with my kids, which I didn't know if that would be an option for us. My husband is also a teacher. I just get to be a part of everything, but I also get to have something that's for me. I feel like I'm financially contributing to the family and giving my kids something to be proud of. My oldest is like, I want to be a sleep consultant. So they
Isn't that
see how hard I work.
yeah, like, I think that's, like, so fun to see my
Mhm.
kids getting older and them watching me, like, have this business and everything, and to them, like,
Yeah.
it's normal, and,
Yep.
like, they'll ask questions like, "Are there other sleep consultants? Did you create sleep consulting?" Like,
I love that.
yeah, like, then you think, like, further away too, like, when they get older, like,
Mhm.
are they going to do something that we've never heard of? So I just think
Exactly.
it's so interesting to kind of think of it that way. If you had one piece of advice to give somebody who's considering taking the course, maybe they're a little nervous or hesitant, what piece of advice would you give?
Just be really patient and yet consistent with it. I was patient. I kind of had the attitude of, it's new. I've never done this. I did not go to school for business. This is not like my original profession. So I'm going to just kind of see where it takes us. And I remember my husband saying, like, hopefully, if we can make the money back that we spent in the course, then hey,
Yeah,
we did a good job. And
same.
that was kind of where we were going. And so like that patience, yet kind of finding your route. Like you're gonna have to dabble in different ways of trying to get clients and work with people. I mean, I've done workshops, I've done, like gone to different fairs, I've referrals, I've done free things. So I've done like a little bit of everything until I found like what my avenue was.
Yeah.
And it took a while, it took some years, but I found it and it's working. So just be patient. And then, don't be afraid to kind of try a bunch of different things.
So I started my business in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, so I started in 2018 and I was like super casual. Like I popped it
Mm-hmm.
up on my Facebook and I was like, oh, look, I did a thing. And like I didn't tell anybody while I was taking the course. I just kind of popped it out there and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"I'm
Me
sleeping
too.
well." And like nobody knew what it was. I had like two clients and I was like, yeah. One of them being like, can you come in my home? And they were a total stranger. I was like, sure, but
Oh my God, you
oh
did
yeah.
that right off the bat. Good for
Yeah.
you.
I love it. I love doing in-home
Yeah.
stuff. But that was like one of the things where just kind of thinking like your business can be how you want it and seeing
Mhm.
how my timeline has changed through the years where like I had 3 under 3. There was no way that I was gonna be, like, on Zoom calls like this all day. So,
Yeah.
I did mostly email support, and, like,
Mhm.
now I'm like, "I will come to your house at 10 AM, help you get the kid down for a nap, and then we're gonna go through your bedtime plan," and, like, all the things, like, I love that. Where,
Yeah.
like, other people might be like, "Oh, let's just do Zoom calls," or, like, whatever.
Mhm.
But, yeah, just kinda, like, make it your own because it's your business, right?
It
Like
is. Yeah, it's really cool. And people ask me about in-home and I'm like, you know what, right now I don't think is the moment for that for me.
right.
But down the road, I do want to do that. So it's just there's so many different places it's taken me. I mean, I've gone into potty training, I've done the newborn stuff. Like, I mean, it's just like a lot of different avenues. I feel like I'm never bored, which is great.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. I feel like we could talk about like different
Oh,
ideas
I know.
and things and like things we've done, things we want to do, things we never want to do again.
Hmm.
We could do that for hours and hours, but we're going to have so many different interviews and videos on this channel. So if you guys want to watch more, then check out more videos on this channel. But Erin, thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thanks for having me.